Hi, welcome to another episode of Arrowhead Outdoors. We were planning on doing some type of Dutch oven cooking for the New Year's celebration, and then we woke up to 5 inches on the ground of snow. So we thought, you know what, we're not gonna let that stop us doing outdoor cooking. We're just gonna change what we're gonna do. We moved over to the grill. So today we're gonna do a honey mustard elk steak. It's a great dish, super easy, all in one pan. So stick around and learn how to do it. So for this meal, what you need is 1 or 2 steaks, however many you're gonna be feeding. We have 2 big elk steaks here. Then for seasoning, we're just gonna put some olive oil on them. Really, you wanna rub that all over those? And then we're just gonna season them with some coarse sea salt, some pepper, and then our favorite Red River Ranch seasoning. Yeah, roll it all over. And we're gonna cook these in the cast iron skillet. Then for the second half of it, the honey mustard sauce, we have a whole sweet onion already chopped up. We got some whipping cream. We've got some just garlic squeezed, minced garlic. Then we have mustard and mayonnaise and a little bit of extra honey to make our sauce. So first, she just put some olive oil all over these, and that's just to help make all this stick. So we're going to not be afraid of seasoning the size of these steaks. These steaks are really thick. These are some big steaks. So we're gonna season these really good. And then we're gonna put a little bit of the Red River. We won't put as much of it as we do as the others, but we'll still put, you know, a healthy amount on. You go ahead and flip them. Yeah. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side. Put the coarse salt on it, the pepper. We don't have our fancy cracker one this time to bit all over, but you know what? This pepper still goes on just fine. And then we're gonna let this sit while we go put the cast iron skillet out on the grill. We're gonna let the skillet heat up, and then we're gonna put these on once the skillet is actually hot and at the temperature we want it. And our skillet is now hot enough, so I put just a little bit more oil in it, and we're gonna put the steaks down in it. And we're not gonna turn them a lot. We're just gonna let them sit there for a while. And once we see them start to, come out, turn brown on the sides a little bit, then we'll flip it over. We're not going to use a thermometer or anything to check to see where we're at. We're just gonna eyeball it here. And we'll end up flipping it a couple times until we get the outside looking the way we want it to. And then we're gonna move this off of the coals, keep the skillet on the coals to make our sauce. Okay, so these steaks are about where we want them. These are pretty thick, so they're still gonna be pretty rare on the inside. Then I'm gonna move them over to this little cookie sheet. I call it a cookie sheet. I don't know really what it is, but it's my wife's. It's just kind of a secret. I have a couple cast iron skillets and a couple Dutch ovens, and that's all I really have that I use for my cooking, but I steal all my wife's stuff when I need it. And those come in handy, and I forget about them and leave them on the grill or in my my chuck box, and then she asks about them, and I act like I don't know where they're at, and then she's like, hey, didn't you use them? And then I have to admit to it. Anyways, so now that we have all that good, like the gooey goody stuff, seasoning for the steaks, now we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna throw in some butter, and we're gonna take, we have a whole sweet yellow onion. It's not really a large onion, but it's close to it. It's definitely bigger than a medium, but I wouldn't consider it a large onion. And then we're gonna put just a tiny little drop of garlic in that. We're gonna put a little bit more oil in it too. And now we're gonna scrape the bottom, and we're gonna get these onions cooked up. And this is the beginning of the honey mustard sauce that's gonna go with the steaks. Okay, so while these onions are starting to get translucent on us and cook down, they're about where we want them. They're not quite there, but they're getting close. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and make our honey mustard base. Now, we could just throw just regular honey mustard in there, but we like to do something a little special. So we're gonna take some honey Dijon mustard. I'm gonna put a decent amount in there. And then Millie's gonna put equal amounts of mayonnaise in it. That's pretty close, yeah. And then we're gonna put some honey in it as well, if I can get the stinking lid off. So we also added in a tablespoon of honey, and we're gonna mix all that together. Finally got the lid off. Millie, do you wanna go and mix that? If I didn't know any better, I think honey was sticky. And she's gonna mix it up really good, and these onions are right where we want them. So now what we're gonna do, since these onions are ready, is we're going to go ahead and pour in some heavy whipping cream. We're just eyeballing it. And then we're gonna dump the honey mustard mix that we made in with it. Get it on there. We're gonna stir that up. And this is going to bubble and get real yummy and it's gonna thicken up and make a really good sauce for us. Okay, so our sauce is done. We're gonna take our steak, we just cut it up, we're gonna lay it in here. We're just gonna basically cover all the open areas with it. Just make sure it just gets down in there almost like a gravy. Just let it sit down in there, and then we're gonna let that sit for about another minute, 2 minutes at most. Then we're gonna pull it inside and let you see the finished product. What you do is just put some parsley on it, because that makes it fancy. All right, you ready? Add your little piece in there. I'll take this one.
Good.
That's good. Super tender. And mixing it with the heavy cream sauce with the honey mustard in there, it has just a little bit of a sweetness to it, but also using the Dijon mustard gives it just that little bit of kick to balance it out. Very good. This would be a great dish just as this, or you could make some rice, pour it over rice, or you can put it on some hoagies as sandwiches. Either way, I think it's going to be a fan favorite. Again, this is honey mustard elk steak. Thanks for joining us at Arrowhead Outdoors. Again, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to get out and enjoy the outdoors.